You can only really help people that want to be helped. I don't look forward to problems, but I'm always ready for them. I've had people say on my social media, oh, it's a girly thing. It must be a girly thing. I'm also aware that I don't want it bad enough. It's quite nice of life and our body and our nature to be able to let us make that change. I'll never force anything on anyone because you can only do so much as a coach. But I definitely think as well for neurodiverse people, gym in itself is a really good tool. Considering we've abused it for so many years, like it's actually quite nice of our body, you know what I mean, to respond in that way. I feel like sometimes being aware of it, you might use that label as an excuse as well. All these conditions, I was like, oh, I don't know what that must be like. Even though I literally had it, I didn't really understand it at that time. And a lot of the time I used to in the past just always give, that'll be trained, that'll be finished. So I never really judge anyone for being down low. What the call for prayer means is come to prayer, come to success. And that helps ground me a lot with as simple as looking after yourself. And then they say, this is why I started. Say, remember how you felt when you wanted to start? Sometimes people are being lazy, let's be real. In order to change and get the life you want, you can't be one leg out, one leg in. Go right through, end up in the toilet, flushed out, done. You know what I mean? But the main thing is for it. Just a reaction.
Okay, welcome Sabil. Thank you for joining Align with Solitude. I'd love to start by hearing about your journey as a creator in the wellness space. Could you take us through how you got to where you are today and what drew you to this work and how your path has unfolded?
Yeah, no, 100%. So first of all, thanks for having me on. I've heard I'm a first guest, so I'm honored. So in terms of being a creator in general and wanting to help people and in the wellness space as well, I think naturally I've always been someone who's enjoyed helping people. Like I find more reward in helping people than actually not helping people, if that makes sense. Like I enjoyed always being the person to be able to see outcome in other people, sometimes more in than helping myself, if that makes sense. I know that sounds a bit weird, but like sometimes I get more satisfaction of helping others than myself. So, and I'm better at that as well, I feel like. And that made me realize that maybe I should kind of dwell more into it. So in terms of what I'm doing now is personal training and coaching. And it's kind of also made me open doors to like mindset coaching. Because I feel like with fitness, it tests and challenges your mindset a lot. Like it's a huge part of it. And if not, it's the main part of it. Because you'll see in a lot of people's fitness journeys and whatnot, the thing that gets them to transform isn't something small. If their mindset changes, it's like a little flick in their brain that just changes, and that's what makes them actually want to progress and make the changes in their own life and whatnot. So I feel like I've always enjoyed helping people in general. So getting that experience early on made me want to dive deep into it. And it's very like satisfying seeing people change and grow, and not only seeing them change physically, but mentally as well. Because that's what helped me. So I relate to it from a different standpoint. So because I've been through it myself several times, I'm going through it at the moment as well. It's made me realize that I enjoy doing that for other people as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, of course. And I really resonate with that as well. Like I tend to pour into people first and then
100.
myself. But I feel like it's so rewarding, isn't it?
100%.
And it just gives me that drive to like, and it's kind of like your calling or your purpose.
Yeah,
like,
no, definitely.
This is what I'm doing it for. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. You're both a personal trainer and a mental health coach, which is such a powerful combination. How has your relationship with fitness and working out shaped your own healing journey? Mm-hmm. And what have you discovered about the connection between physical and mental transformation through your own experience?
No, 100%. That's a great question. So for me, again, it is something that's a very deep thing for me because I've always been on and off fitness my whole life. Like since, I think very early on, I went into gym anyway. So that was around 15, 16 years old, but it wasn't for my mindset or my mental health. It was more for, I want to be in shape, I want to have muscles, I want to look good, do you get me? But so I was in the gym very early on, but I never looked at it from a mental standpoint, maybe because I was too young to understand that stuff anyway. Sure. So I was always on and off. My intention wasn't, let me better my mental health. Then came a time in my life where obviously we all start going through our first mental health problems and not even realizing it. And that's when I started going to the gym to kind of help and better my mental state as well, but not realizing it. So sometimes I was going to gym 2-3 times a day, like a nutter, but not even realizing that that's my therapy. So I wasn't really realizing at that point, but that's why I kept going to it, going through that pain, like enjoying lifting, getting stronger, like it's like a positive mindset thing as well. So I didn't realize at the time, but that was essentially my therapy, and it helped shift my mindset a lot as well, because obviously you need to be disciplined and whatnot. But then also I noticed at times in my life when I was happy, then I wasn't really training. Yeah. So it was like, I don't really need it like that. But when I was at my lowest, then I was going back to it. So that's what made me very on and off with my own training, if that makes sense. So at my lowest points in my life, no gym, just eating takeaways all the time. I was the biggest I ever was as well. It took a really bad mental toll on me as well. Sure. So I also realized that I only go to the gym really when I'm in a state to want to recover. But at the same time, I can be really low where I won't even touch the gym because I feel so bad. I don't want to go out or anything and just gain a ton of weight. So if that makes sense. So I realized that it actually is a form of therapy in itself where you're actually training, getting better, like seeing more progress, and you actually want to look after yourself. I feel there's a fine line between where you are in terms of recovery and if you actually even want to take care of yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like you need to want to do it. That's a big thing I've realized in all of this as well. Even with clients, I'll never force anything on anyone because you can only do so much as a coach. I've got the blueprint, I've got like the methods that work, I know what works.
Yeah.
But the person as well needs to be able to want to put that work in. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Because I'm not going to be there feeding them at home, making sure they're sticking to a diet plan.
Definitely.
Or even mentally as well. Like you need to want to work on yourself for it to work, essentially. Like no one can force you to anything. And especially me, I feel like because I am strong-willed and like very philosophical and like mentally I'm so strong, I feel like it's hard for anyone to tap into my brain, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So all the work I can help other people do, I feel like no one can do that for me. Even if they told me the exact same things when I'm low, I am the only one that can really help myself, if that makes sense. You see what I'm trying to come from?
Yeah, no, definitely.
But yeah, man, so it's something that's quite rewarding because like what you said earlier, it is kind of like a calling because it just comes naturally to me where someone can be so low and I can just use some words and then just instantly better. I was like, I wish I had someone like that for me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work because even if someone using the exact words, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't go through like my head. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, with me, I was actually having a conversation this week earlier about having accountability partners.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like as for me personally, I really need that.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like gym and working out, like I feel like I need to have someone there that's going to hold me accountable. And even I feel like in general with life itself, but when it comes to working out in particular, for me, I feel like I need to have that person there. And definitely. I can very easily fall into those cycles as well. So
100.
It's so nice that there are people that are dedicated to this space, you know, and it really feels like you're devoted to your calling.
Yeah, no, but you're right. I think it does come down to accountability actually, because a lot of the time in the gym, let's be honest, even outside of the gym, everyone knows how to lose weight. Everyone knows how to like gain muscle. Like if you want to lose weight, you just eat less, you move more. If you want to gain muscle, you just eat well and train more. Everyone knows that. So sometimes that puts people off of getting a coach in general. But the thing is, and that's how I actually kind of sell myself, I say it's the accountability factor. Like I'm going to be messaging you like weekly, doing check-ins. Because even sometimes as coaches, we need coaches. So my brother as well, he's a PT and coach as well. And he's a bodybuilder, but he's also got a coach of himself. It's not that he lacks the knowledge, but he wants to take that mental pressure off himself to be just guiding him. Do you see where I'm coming from? So
of course.
It's not that you're not good enough if you have a coach. It just means that you want to get your results faster and you want that mental pressure to be eased off you a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. I think the accountability factor is the main thing when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So Sabil, what are some things that you've done to help clients that want to work on themselves?
So obviously I won't go into the exact name, but I can remember some examples. So I had a lady who was, she was quite old. No, actually I wouldn't say old, but yeah, late to middle age. And then she had like a lot of problems that she had physically with her. So a lot of things that made her unable to do certain workouts and whatnot. So instantly, like her first thought would be, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. I said, stop saying that. I said, first of all, take that word out of your mouth. It's like I was telling a toddler. She's way older than me, so it's a bit humbling there. But I was like, take that word out of your mouth. You can't be saying that I said, don't use that word can't. I said, you can't be using the word can't. Okay. So I almost went back on myself there. But essentially, like when you said that, you've already limited yourself.
Yeah.
And I say this to a lot of people in the gym as well. So like, if I'm training with someone, if I see someone training, they're like, okay, I'm going to go for 4 or 5 reps. I said, okay, now you limited yourself.
Yeah.
I said, because now if you're physically able to do more than that, by the time you get to 3, 4, you're in your head, you're like, oh, let me just do one more, then I'll drop the weight. I said, now you've limited, you've capped, like you're not going to go above that now because you've said it. I said, instead of that, let me just put your headphones in, get in a zone and let me see how many my body allows me to do.
Wow.
Because your body is limited by your brain, if that makes sense.
Yes.
If you just tell yourself 4 or 5, that's it, I'm done after that, then you will be. And you might not even get that because you said that was your maximum. And most of the time as people, we don't like to push ourselves, and me included, to our maximum because it's a very mentally difficult place to get through. So with this client I was talking about, like she would always limit herself, oh, I can't do planks. I said, okay, cool, let's start with a plank. And she did it. And then I said, let's do push-ups. And she said, I can't do push-ups. And she did it. Like we worked on it like little by little. But the point I made with her by the end of the journey was that you can do those things and stop using the word can't and stop comparing yourself to other people. Compare yourself to what you used to be able to do. Exactly. And that's the only way you're going to get better. And so that's a big one for me. I think not capping yourself before you've even started and just working at your own pace on your own journey. I think that's a big thing. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I felt a bit called out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I've definitely said, I can't do this, I can't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that. And I feel like it's like practice makes perfect, doesn't it? You have to like repetition over and over again.
100%.
And again, having that accountability partner is what will kind of get you to that end result that you need. So what are some things that helped you overcome the times that you didn't feel like going to the gym?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Again, so like I was saying before, like there were times where even though I needed it, I wasn't able to bring myself to doing it because I was always waiting for the right time and whatnot. So then again, it comes down to that mindset switch. It's like nothing physically changed for me whenever I did go back into it. It was me just kind of keep myself accountable and be like, oh, stop all these excuses, just go. Because especially recently as well, when I've been back on my journey, so I've been, I think 3 months consistent on my own journey now. But this time around, I feel like a big difference compared to what I have in the past, because instead of making excuses, instead of relying on purely just motivation, I'm relying on discipline. I think all the other times where I did fall off or like I would only do something for a little while, it was because I was relying on motivation when I feel good, or when I'm watching a YouTube video of someone like looking good and whatnot. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go gym, let me look like that, let me be like that. And then that would very quickly actually just die off. Whereas this time around, I'm like, I kept myself accountable. I'm like, all right, stop all the excuses. It doesn't matter if you've had 1 hour sleep, 2 hours sleep, you need to go to the gym and make it more of a routine and disciplinary thing rather than a motivational thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I stopped relying on motivation now. Now it's just a discipline thing where I'm like, I have to go to the gym for my mental being, for my physical being as well, to
Yeah.
help me in other parts of my life, because I need to be good. Because you hear a lot of people say stuff like, oh, like I'll die for my family, I'll do this for my family. But then how many of us are going to live for our family? I had that quote recently, so I thought we'd bring it here.
Yeah,
Sounds
of
good.
course. No, I love that.
Because it's not really, like everyone says that, it's like an ego thing. Oh yeah, I'll die for my, especially as a man, you'd be like, yeah, I'll do this for my family, I'll do that. But how many of us are going to live for our family and actually keep ourselves accountable and do all the boring things that you need to do every day? Take your vitamins, your supplements, drinking water, going to the gym, training, looking after your health. Like, because those things are more important. Because you need to be alive to be looking after your family and be healthy. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And to be at your prime state. So yeah, this time around, I'd say, going back to the question, what helped me kind of go into it is the discipline and just keep myself accountable and being real with myself. Because a lot of times we just lie to ourselves, like say, oh, I don't need to go today. My elbow's hurting a bit. Or so it's deeper than just gym. So it's like more of a mental state and discipline thing that helps you in other aspects of life.
Yeah.
Which I have found has helped me in different parts of life. Because now when I go through things, I just pick up and go as fast as I can. Like I won't ignore it, so I won't invalidate the things I'm going through, but I'll pick up as fast as I can and just keep going, because that's what life's about. Like, it's not going to get any easier. You just got to become more like stronger, basically, and just be able to withstand all the things that come your way.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think the mindset shift is the main thing for me that's helped me go back into all those sort of things. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to really honor your process, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
no,
everyone's journey is so like different and
100.
unique. So it's important to like the highs and lows. There's going to be days where
100%.
you might not want to
Oh, you're
like
right.
go and work out. So how did you keep yourself accountable during those times?
Yeah, for me, during those times, I would say is actually going back to what you just said now. So I was real with myself. Like, I didn't expect myself to just go back into the gym and be exactly where I used to be. Like, I understood that I was going to be weaker. I understood that it was going to take me a long time to progress. And it can be a bit humbling and a bit annoying sometimes, because you're like, oh, I was able to do this and I have to build up this. And then you're looking around the gym and it's so easy to just compare.
Yeah.
But I stopped doing that. And obviously with me, because I train with my brother sometimes and he's younger than me, a lot of other people in that position would be like, oh, why is he younger than me? We're lifting more than me. But I just put all that aside, because that's his journey, that's my journey. We're there together. We just have to lift each other up. And so I literally took that accountability and thought, I can't get better without being rubbish first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everything you start in life, and not only gym, you have to be bad at it to get better. And the better you get at being comfortable in those positions, the more you'll grow in life. Because then you're able to try more things out, put yourself in other people's shoes, and just become more well equipped in life in general anyway.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to be comfortable being uncomfortable, basically.
Definitely.
And be comfortable being a newbie or a beginner in so many different aspects of life. Because we're all beginners in everything anyway. That's our first time living, our parents' first time living. So one step at a time, we'll be able to be better people, and that's it.
So would you say that it's about setting realistic goals?
Yes, 100%. Like, there's nothing wrong with having massive goals. That's great. But mini goals in between are what are going to get you to that big goal. And that big goal is going to change, because then you're just going to be like much better equipped. And then your goals are going to be able to be bigger, because now your trajectory is going to be like so much bigger and so much massive. Like, your potential increases
Exactly.
as you go along, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. So what was happening in your life when you first realized you needed to go deeper into your healing journey? Was there a specific moment, or was it more a gradual process?
Yeah, no, I feel like it was a build up. So that, like, there were certain times in my life where a lot of big things were happening, and then you're left a bit confused in life, and like you don't kind of know which way to face. But I feel like those moments are needed, and they're actually beneficial more than a bad thing. So I never look at any of the bad things that happened in my life and be like, oh, why did that happen to me? I mean, I did initially, don't get me wrong, but then afterwards I understood, no, I'm actually glad that happened, because now I'm able to withstand more and I'm able to grow more. And if it wasn't for those things, I wouldn't have pushed myself to grow more. So in my case, with certain big things were happening in my life, like I had no choice because I literally had no solution. So I was like, okay, what can I control? It came to that factor. Okay, I can't control this, I can't control that, but what can I control? In this case, it was my health. And in terms of spiritually, it was also like my religion as well. I was like, okay, like these are the things I can control and focus on right now, so I will. And in those processes, like all your other problems become small. You're just like, oh, you know what? Like I have control of this. Like you feel better physically, especially with fitness. Like I know I keep talking about the fitness, but is like it's good, but only as good as you make it. Because when you're feeling healthy and when you feel better about yourself, when you're making progress, you do just feel good about anything, and the problems become tiny, like minuscule. Like you don't even care about the things how you normally would.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And then also in terms of religion as well, like they kind of go hand to hand, because they in my religion, like you need discipline. So bringing them together, especially, I feel like it's a really powerful tool, because you end up not caring about the things that you once used to. Not in a way where you don't care, but like they're not your priority, if that makes sense. Like you end up being able to flow through your problems much faster, and the solution just come. Like because with time solutions come anyway, your problems pass anyway. So I don't know if it comes into it being a time passing thing as well, but also it just helps your mental well-being, where time just flows faster because everything feels good and fun again.
Yeah, definitely.
So it just flows through. So yeah.
I say that a lot. I always say that if I look good, I feel good.
Yeah, 100.
And vice versa. If I feel good, I look good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely resonate with that as well. Thank you for sharing that. Do you feel religion helped you a lot with being accountable?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And even with that, similar to with gym, it's been a journey. So it's not as simple as, oh, I'm religious and I'm perfect 100% of the time. Because when I first went through this massive problem, I've been 100% since then, because that's not the case. Same with the gym, how I was telling you before, I've been very on and off. Whereas recently, like very recently, I'll say for the past few months, they've both gone hand to hand. But it wasn't as simple as I woke up one day and I was doing everything 100%. It was a very gradual process. Because before, what I would do is I'd be going gym, but I'd noticed that my religious side would be kind of declining slightly. Because I find it very difficult to be consistent in general. Because I know I have ADHD, and I just find it so hard to be like consistent with so many things. It's not an excuse. Again, I don't like making excuses. I keep myself accountable to see how can I adapt certain things. So then with this gym journey recently, I was like, okay, let me just go gym first. Leave the diet for now. Let me just go gym. Let me get into the swing of things. So I was going gym. Then I was like, okay, now I'm consistent with this. Now let me fix my diet. So I was fixing my diet. I was like, okay, now my diet's fixed. Now let me fix my religious side. Because I'll be making excuses like, oh, I can't pray when I'm at the gym because there's music here, there's this, there's that. But now what I do is I purify myself before I go to the gym. So I'm already in a state of purification. And I've got this temporary prayer mat, which I brought today as well. It's like a little foldable one. And then literally mid-set, I'll tell my brother, look, I'll be back 5 minutes, I'm going to go pray. So I'll go like to the studio, or sometimes if there's nowhere else to go, I'll pray there. Even though I don't like doing it in front of other people, because I'm not trying to like look like I'm being someone. I'd rather it be a personal thing and keep it to myself, because it's something we all should be doing as Muslims anyway. But I'd rather do it in my own space, because that's my own journey. And I don't want to look like I'm the perfect Muslim when I'm not. No one is. But it's just me working on myself. So then now I'm in a place where I'm doing all three of those things together, which individually meant so much to me. But now I'm doing it together at the same time. It's really empowering and good for my mental state. So yeah, like with the religion, me praying 5 times, and the gym thing all together, I feel like it's the perfect tool for success in life, 100%.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like that devotion has definitely played a massive role in who I am today.
Yeah.
Reconnecting with my roots. So I definitely resonate with that. Because you mentioned your ADHD, when life's challenges pushed you to that crossroads, what made you choose the path of working on yourself rather than avoiding or numbing the pain?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, I feel like avoiding pain doesn't like solve anything. So with me, I've always liked to deal with things head on. Like with any problem I had in my life, like I never really have been that kind of person naturally to just ignore things. Like even if it be at home or with friends or whatnot, like a lot of people will just avoid things till they get better. But I was always the why this, why that, let's fix this now. Even though sometimes that can have its like negative side, because that confrontational thing doesn't always work. So I've learned that as well. But some things don't have to be dealt with that abrupt, like, oh, why this happened? Let's fix this now. And I feel like find that balance in between is the perfect
100%.
thing, where you need to be accountable and deal with things in the moment, but not with that same level of assertiveness or power, if that makes sense. So like that slight balance of both is what would be good enough to solve everything in life. So yeah, I've never been avoidant for problems. I always deal with them, but for me, what's changed is how much I prioritize it. Because normally I'd make the problem my whole life, then I'd pause everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, no gym now. I'm stressed. I'm depressed. Okay, eat. Let's eat bad now. The prayer, yeah, that can wait.
The spiral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm going for a problem. Oh look, it's prayer time now. I need to go pray. Do you get me? Or it's like, okay, I need to go gym. The problem can wait in between my sets, because when I'm lifting weight, I can't think about the problem.
Yeah.
To get me, otherwise the weight won't move. Or I'll still go gym, maybe with not that 100% effort, but I won't really think about it as much. And then the beautiful thing about me for my religion as well, I feel like came at the perfect time, was that whenever I was really like stressing about the problems, by the time I'm like getting really into that spiral of depression, I was like, and I'm literally about to think about it, I'm an overthinker, it'll be prayer time. So I was like, okay, look, I have to go like purify myself and pray now. And then literally, again, it would come to a time where I'm like, okay, start to think about the problem, Oh, but it's a prayer time again, because it's 5 times. I feel like they've literally timed those prayers like so perfectly, like obviously part of our religion, that every time you're about to like dwell into your problems again, it's prayer time. So like there's no point, because you're literally throwing your problems away when you're actually praying and you're submitting everything to God. And,
yeah.
And it's just such an easy, nice feeling, because especially me, because like I was saying to you earlier, how I feel like, oh, no one could understand me, or I can't really be soothed by other people's words. I feel like prayer is like the answers for that, because God knows me, God understands me already. I don't have to explain nothing. So me just praying and submitting everything, I'm also letting go of all the problems, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because in our religion, we have this Arabic saying called tawakkul. I'll send it to you after if you want to write it down, but it's tawakkul.
Sure.
So basically, it's that belief in knowing that God has everything in control for you, and that leap of faith, essentially. So you know that God's plan is the best plan. And that in itself is soothing for me, because I'm an overthinker. I like to plan my own things and whatnot. But doing that means I don't have to think about anything. I can just leave the problem in itself. But it's a double-bladed sword, because when you say that, you actually have to believe it. That you can't just say, yeah, leave everything to God, but, oh wait, but should I do this in the meantime to fix it? Or now you actually have to leave it.
Just surrendering, isn't
Exactly.
it?
Yeah, you actually have to leave it with that belief
divine,
that it will solve. So yeah, that helped me a lot. Like I said, with the balance of everything else. And part of my religion as well is to actually look after yourself. So I think they work very well hand to hand, because gym, you need discipline. With religion, you need discipline. Like, you got to be strict about certain things, pray on time, be in a state of purification, be nice to people, good character building. So for me, they've both, like right now, I'd say it's probably the best time to come on a podcast, actually, because even with things going on or whatnot, like I'm finding more about myself as well in this whole time. So that's
really,
it's good.
That's amazing. That's like the alignment, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just things
definitely
coming together and divine timing.
100%.
And that's interesting, actually, because it sounds like you've taken all the negatives and, like I like to say, like just transmuted it into a positive. So that's like the journey of the alchemist. That's what I say. That's from my perspective. I see it from that way, from a spiritual like sights. And that's what I took away from what you shared. So thank you for that.
That's right.
Are there any tips or tricks for the other neurodivergents watching you that you would recommend?
No, 100%. I would say obviously there's a lot of similarities for a lot of people with these symptoms or like attributes. Sometimes people have more than one neurodiverse like attributes. So I would say first, learn more about yourself, learn what actually helps you in these things, because everyone's different. Like 2 people might have ADHD, but might be a different solution for everyone. Like everyone thinks that if you have ADHD, like there's 5 of you in the world, 5 of you in your borough or something. But it doesn't work like that. Do you get me? So you literally need to find what works out for you and tailor solutions out for you in your own pace as well, in your own time, and don't take advice from other people that aren't neurodiverse, because they're not going to understand.
They won't.
Yeah, because they'll be like, okay, yeah, just do this. Yeah, but you can't, because it's not possible. I'd say, especially with me, so like I said, I do have it, but instead of just going full force at it, so like going gym, praying and doing a diet all at once, I know I'd struggle with that. I did it one at a time. So for example, with the gym thing, how I was saying, I did it slowly. So obviously I done gym first, I was getting into the routine, then I did my diet, and then after that, I was doing the praying stuff. If I had done it all at once, maybe I wouldn't have been as successful. So I was doing it more one at a time. And that's helped me personally. But I definitely think as well for neurodiverse people, gym in itself is a really good tool because it helps you. And with ADHD specifically, it's like we hate routine and we struggle with it, but it's what we need.
What you need.
Yeah, it's what
Exactly
we need.
that,
And it's
yeah.
so hard to do it, but you have to pull through and not make excuses. Like, especially with me, like being a night owl, I hardly get any sleep sometimes. And that'll be my excuse before, like, oh, I haven't got sleep. But I think if you give yourself a certain time that you have to go to the gym by and just work your way into it slowly, it will definitely help you.
Sure. No, 100%. Your background spans from psychology, philosophy, and sociology. So how did studying the human experience academically first open your eyes to your own inner work?
Okay, yeah, no, that's interesting. So with me, when it came to what I had to choose for A-levels and stuff, I just naturally went for those things. I've always been interested in the mind, philosophy, obviously with religion as well. I was always interested in those things and I was quite good at it at school as well. But obviously, not realizing at the time I had ADHD, I struggled with exams. So in class, I'd be getting all the good grades. They'd use my work as an example in philosophy. And then when it came to exams, I'm getting either average or really low mark. Even my teacher was confused. He called me into office one day, like, I don't get what's happening. Like, I'm using your work in class, but like, it doesn't make sense. I was like, yeah, and I didn't understand that at the time. I think at that time as well, it didn't really help me with my inner beliefs because it took me a long time. Even though I was understanding a lot of like theories and this and that, I wasn't able to apply it to my own life because I didn't realize I had it, if that makes sense. So I thought all these things were rare, if that makes sense. All the psychology things and all this, or all these conditions. I was like, oh, I don't know what that must be like. Even though I literally had it, I didn't really understand it at that time. It only took me till now, like what, how many years has it been? Like 7, 8 years on, I don't even know, on to realize, let's not even say a number, I can't even remember. So yeah, it took me so many years after to realize that I actually have it. But so I wouldn't say that studying it helped me, if that makes sense. But in that time, I was just interested in learning more about different theories, or when I was studying philosophy, like I was good at it because I was able to expand my brain or really ask questions that other people wouldn't be asking. I like really understanding things.
Sure.
And maybe that helped me in different aspects of life, like just being able to question everything and understand why certain things happen and why certain things don't happen and ask questions. But I don't think it helped me with inner work so much because I think I just wasn't aware of what I was going through, because at that time I thought everyone was like that.
Yeah.
So I think it didn't help because one of my friends at the time who I was close with, he got diagnosed with it as well. So maybe we both kind of bounced that energy off each other, not realizing that we both had it. And maybe that made me think that, yeah, everyone has
it's
this.
Just not as
the
norm.
Exactly, yeah. Even though I felt I had a difference since primary school, but I never really knew what it was. And it's not a bad difference. I always knew, okay, I'm a bit more creative in this, or like I struggle to like bring back knowledge on this, but I didn't realize at the time.
Like knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
And exactly. And how mad is I'm literally studying it at psychology and I didn't even realize because I think I just wasn't taking it in. And I was just learning it off the surface.
Definitely.
And literally just keeping it at that. And that back then as well is really bad, but I never used to believe in like mental health issues as well. Like when someone says stress, at the person, oh, this guy's weak. Or if someone's telling me, like, say if my older sister or someone else was telling me, oh, I'm going through this, I'm like, what? Stress? That's anxiety. What's that all about? And then when I first went through it, I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Maybe that was real.
I think it's also the awareness, isn't it? There's 100. So much more awareness being definitely raised about it.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays. I think that's the same with me. Like when I was younger, I was like, okay, just like, what is that? When you'd hear people, but when you go through it yourself and then you're like, okay, there's so many people speaking about it, sharing their stories 100. That you can relate to.
Yeah.
So that goes a really long way.
Yeah, and I feel that's important though. I'm actually glad that there is more awareness about it now, because hopefully more children and the younger generation will be able to be heard much early on and understand what they have to help them. Because like, if I knew what I had before, I feel like it's hard to say. I don't think it would have been better necessarily, but maybe I would have done things a bit differently.
100%.
Because sometimes I think, I don't know if you are aware of this yourself, but I feel like sometimes being aware of it, you might use that label as an excuse as well. And be like, oh, I have ADHD, so let me not do that. I have ADHD, so maybe I'll struggle with this.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe having the knowledge about it back then maybe would have made me make more excuses. So yeah, I feel like even though I wish I did, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I just masked the whole time.
Yeah,
I was masking that whole time till now. Yeah, so only now I'm able to realize. But it's good because everything happens for a reason anyway. So maybe I didn't realize at that point. Maybe I wouldn't have even gone to school then. I wouldn't really I leave school. So yeah. And
the way that you're channeling it now as well, it's a lot different to then 100%. If you had that label.
Definitely, because now I've gone through so much more in life that I'm able to, like what you said, channel it in a different way. Whereas now I'm not using it as an excuse. Maybe beforehand I would have. Now I'm using it as a reason to learn more about myself, to see how I can adapt things that work for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I also resonate with that. At what point did you realize that your healing journey could become a way to help others? And how did that transition from personal work to service happen?
So I'm very empathetic. So and I feel sorry for people easily as well. So like when I was doing all that work on myself, whenever I see someone else struggle, I'm like, I know exactly what that feels like, and I know the solutions for it as well. So I'll just like drop advice sometimes, only if people are willing to. Like what we were going back to before, you can only really help people that want to be helped. Like there needs to be some ability in them to want that help in that moment. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get through. Even if you have the most perfect 10 out of 10 like recipe to fix someone, it's not going to work. And vice versa, the other way around as well. If you have 10% effort, 10% of the recipe of someone who wants to work 100% on themselves, it might make a life-changing difference.
Yeah.
So I feel like they both go hand in hand. Like you can only help people who want to be helped. So yeah, my healing journey made me realize that with you wanting to heal, that is the primary factor. Then everything else will kind of fall into place. But you need to kind of put that out there as well, that you're ready to even receive help, if that makes sense. Because you won't really progress or make your problem better if you're not ready to make a change.
Yeah.
Like things don't just get better by you sitting around. You actually have to, going back to accountability, be accountable and take action.
Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely.
like, I think, yeah, it's just opened my eyes more, like going through it. So I'm glad I can see now what people go through. And when people otherwise might kind of look at other people in a bad light to say, oh, why aren't they fixing this or why aren't they? Because I've been through so many different things. I know how people can get over those things and I know what it feels like. So I never really judge anyone for being down low, no matter what situation they're in. If it's homeless people or someone who can't speak or someone with a disability, I can resonate and be empathetic to all of them because I've experienced so much in my life. And I know there's always a way to make people feel better. And yeah, I think that's important to realize. And that's what's helped me help people, if that makes sense.
No, I love that. I feel like when it comes to like people that, like you going back to what you were saying about helping people that want to be helped.
Yeah.
Because this is what happens. Like we can give people, like even with my line of work, I find that a lot of people come, whether it's for readings or healing services, and they don't take the time to integrate everything that you share with them.
Exactly.
There's so few people that go away and actually embody the teachings. So that's what, like an insight that came through for me as you were sharing. I was like, that's very true because there's so few people and it's so important to take away. But if they don't want to help themselves, there's nothing. And as an empath, you feel it, you see it, you know exactly what needs to happen, exactly. But it's not in your hands at that point.
100%.
Or you can try and plant the seed.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're right.
So you emphasize self-awareness as central to your approach. What does true self-awareness actually look like in practice beyond just knowing your patterns?
I think self-awareness, again, very simply, I think it just comes down to accountability, being aware of how your presence affects other people around you as well. I think that's really important because you wanting to help people. So for example, like I said, for me, I'm a family person. Like I like to be the best version of myself for my family and the people around me, so friends as well. And a lot of the time I used to in the past just always give. That'll be drained, I'll be finished. I'm like, okay, now what? Like everyone else is happy and I'm just here. Like
I feel a lot of people can relate to that, definitely.
No, exactly. But then I realized like in order for you to give your best version, you have to actually look after yourself. And sometimes even if it means you not helping others for a bit, to prioritize your own health or to help people less in general, you're able to put out more in the long term, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, let's say, for example, before you're helping people 100% of the time and you're saying yes to everything and you're helping everyone and eventually you'll be drained out. So let's say you stop helping people for 0%, basically. You're much better off giving people 50% all the time whilst you're also able to look after yourself, and you'll be doing that for a much longer time. So you're able to help people even more in the long run, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it's important to be aware of how your own state impacts other people around you and also be aware of your weaknesses. I think that's a big one. A lot of times we underestimate our weaknesses and we overestimate our strengths. And it's very important to just be real with yourself, like really real with yourself and be like, okay, I'm actually rubbish at this. I'm not as good as this as I thought I would be. And then that's the only way you're able to like fix everything else, by actually being super aware and super real to yourself. Because then that's the only way you'll be able to grow, and that's the only way you'll be able to get better at the things that you thought you were good at already.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're good at something, then you're not going to try to improve.
No way.
Because you're like, oh, I'm good at this already, I don't need to do nothing.
Yeah.
And if you think you're bad at something, you might not work on it either. So by being aware and saying, okay, I'm not as good at this as I thought I was, then you can do more work and become better. And same thing with your weaknesses. The more weaknesses you're aware about, the better you can do in life, because you're going to actually do work on them to actually get better at them.
Yeah, no, that's so reflective.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of shadow work, and I always say how it's like radical self-honesty.
Yeah.
And it's so true, like how we will downplay our weaknesses and we'll hype up the strengths.
100%.
And that was like really good, powerful insight for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. And I think that it takes so much courage, isn't it?
No,
to be
it
able
does.
to walk that path.
No, you're right. Because imagine you're just looking at all your weaknesses and be like, okay, I'm bad at this, bad at this. It can also go in the wrong way, because then you might be like, okay, now I just feel negative because I feel like I'm not
and
good at anything.
victim mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
That you fall
Yeah,
into.
100%. So I feel like doing it, but with a very fine line, is probably the most important thing.
100%.
Like being aware of your weaknesses and taking action to work on them, but also not using it to be like, oh, I'm actually rubbish at everything. Like be like, okay, I'm bad at these things, but I need to be aware of it so I can do the work now, and then I can get better and then become better after. Whereas I feel like if you're not really aware, then you're just pushing the problem to the side again, like what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Like the quicker you are accountable, the quicker you take action, the better you'll be in the long run. Because then you're just pushing stuff to the side, and one day it'll be exposed, and then
exactly
you actually can't show.
And it's going to come back up. It's going to creep up.
Definitely.
And whether it's in like a relationship situation,
100%.
your own personal development, it's going to come up.
100%.
So there's no really real way of avoiding it apart from just facing it.
Exactly. Because it's always going to be there anyway.
That's true. Can you walk us through how small conscious changes create those bigger transformations? And what's an example of this from your own life or someone you've worked with?
Yeah, okay. So small conscious changes, again, it'll go back to just doing all those little things that add up to the bigger picture. So me taking a multivitamin today is nothing. It's just one multivitamin. Like, it will mean nothing to my system as well. The body would just go right through, end up in the toilet, flushed out, done. You know what I mean? But the main thing is for it just a reaction. But the main I'm gonna keep that in there. You keep that in there. I'll say again. Let me gather myself. But you see the point I'm making, right?
Yeah,
so essentially, one multivitamin today isn't going to do anything for you. All those little things that you do daily, like in itself on the day, they don't make the biggest difference, and they won't. But it's not about the immediate gratification. It's about the long-term deferred gratification and what comes from it long-term. So like I said, the vitamin on a daily basis, the first day might not do nothing, second day it won't, even a week or a few months it won't, but down the line, it all adds up. It's the little things that you don't see now that are building that process and starting their own processes and potentials in the background, be it with supplements as a little example, but it also transfers to like your mental state, your mental health, feeling good one by one, going to the gym one day at a time, one prayer at a time. Like all those things build up that wall of that success and that foundation. And without those little things, you don't have that big project or that big, the big accomplishment, if that makes sense. All that success doesn't come without those little bricks that build the tower, essentially. So we should never undermine the little things and the little efforts in our daily lives, because they all contribute to the bigger picture. And without them, there is no bigger picture. So instead of just thinking, oh, big goal, let me just aim for this straight away, you need to understand that those things aren't part of the process. They are the process. Like you actually need those things to be able to flow and be successful in anything.
To break it down into something more
100%
digestible, realistic.
Exactly, yeah. And you actually need those things. Like without them, you can't have the final result. Like you need to be doing those little things every single day. And I like, even with the word little, I don't even like using it, because I feel like it just has negative connotations. Like little, it just sounds bad, like it's not good enough. But you need those things in premise to do the bigger things in life.
Yeah, and to appreciate the bigger things,
100%,
isn't it?
100%.
Definitely those little challenges or whatever it is, but 100%. How does your Islamic practice inform your healing work? And what role does prayer play in both your personal process and how you guide others?
Mm-hmm. You know, prayer is a big one for me. Like, I really do think without prayer, I wouldn't be able to be this stable mentally and even physically at all, because it really grounds you. Like, like you have to do it consistently. There's always, the prayer times are always going to be there. It's like, you can't even rely on people as much as you can on prayer, because like people will let you down. Like even your family will let you down. Even you let yourself down. So with prayer, it's always there. The prayer mat's always there. Like the call to prayer will happen. And it's a place for you to literally submit your will, because that's what prayer is for and that's what the calling is for. And even the prayer call in itself, like whenever you hear the adhan, so when you hear the call for prayer, it literally, like what the call for prayer means is come to prayer, come to success. So a lot of the times in our problems in life, it's because we're unsuccessful, we're struggling with success, be it financially, be it spiritually, be it like mentally or physically. we want to be successful at things, like it's what we want, and the prayer is literally designed for that. So how weird is it and how odd is it that in life we're stressing about money and a call to prayer happens and we're ignoring it? Like the call of prayer is happening there. It's literally like God's calling you, like come pray now if you want to be successful. And we're just there thinking that we're so invested that we're in control of our problems and solutions all the time that we end up feeling so depressed or low not to do those things. But it's silly. Like now when I look at it, and I say that, but I have my phases, because now when I'm having those problems and I'm feeling a bit low, I'm like questioning, how do I do this? How can I fix this? And a call to prayer happens. I just drop everything. I'm just like, okay, cool. It's time to pray now. Because that's literally what the prayer is there for. And it helps me because whilst I'm praying as well, it's important to be conscious of the prayer as well. So in prayer, we're supposed to be conscious of the prayer and literally not think about other things. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I do struggle because my brain's just on all the time. And there's literally think about a million things at once. But I do try throughout my prayer to just forget everything, just look at the prayer mat and focus on the prayer in itself. And that helps ground me a lot. And it helps me not overthink my problems too much. And most of the time, things do work out. And having that break 5 times a day, or even the first one of the day, like the prayer of Fajr, we actually have to wake up for that prayer, no matter how tired you are or whatnot. It comes into that discipline thing where you're like, I'm also trying to pray when I'm winning in life, not just when I'm low in life. Because I used to do that in the past as well. Like, I'd only be praying when I'm low and when I'm struggling. And then once I'm on a good, then I go a bit slower with the prayers, or now I'm missing a few throughout the day. Whereas this time, the thing I've changed and the attempt I've done now is to pray throughout, no matter, even if I don't have problems, because that's when I think real blessings start pouring into your life. And I was saying this to a friend actually recently when we were talking about religion. So this goes to the question of how it's helped others, is if, like us as adults, for example, say you had a child who was naughty and you wanted to, let me reword that. So say you had a child and they would only behave if you restricted them of things and you took away, let's say, a PlayStation or whatnot, and they would behave and they would be more likely to be successful. You'd do that more. You'd make them struggle more. You wouldn't give them the stuff. Whereas if they're always grateful, regardless of you just giving them blessings and giving them consoles and spoiling them, but like now they're excelling at life, then you're going to give them that. So it's like with God, he wants the best for us and he wants us to succeed in life. So if he knows that us going through struggles in life is going to bring us closer to him, we're going to struggle more in life because he wants the best for us. Whereas if we have everything on the plate and we're not praying now, we're not really good humans and our soul is like empty, then there's no like reason for us to have those blessings in place. Do you see where I'm coming from?
100%.
Yeah, because it's like, why would God bless us more then if it's better for us to go through more struggle? Because struggle is what brings us closer to him. You see where I'm coming from? So that is a really strong mindset I've had now to pull through, even when I'm feeling good in life, to just pray and let the blessings come in naturally without forcing things. And I'll think about my problems, but then I try to let go of them as well. Because be it in terms of success or whatnot, there's a saying in our religion as well that the more you chase the worldly matters, the more they run away from you. But when you let go of all the worldly matters, they'll come running after you. But you actually have to mean it. And that's hard to mean. Like, easy to say in words, but in practice is really difficult. So I just try to be conscious of those things and even spreading the message. Like even today on the podcast now, like I even prayed about this. Like I hope, and I've been praying this in my like prayers, in my du'as and my wishes, that in life, I want to be able to spread my religion in the best way possible. Not forcing religion on anyone, but just be able to show through my character so people can be like, oh, that's interesting. What does he follow? Like, I want to learn more about it and whatnot. And just spread the message of my religion in Islam in the most positive way possible, especially with like other people's perceptions. Like, it's not what you think it is. And at the end of the day, you need to be a good person and character. And that's what people need to be inspired by before the religion. Like, they need to see what it does for you so it can do good for them as well. Do you know what I mean? And everyone has their own journey with religion as well. I was never 100% with religion. Like, I know the obvious halal and harams and whatnot, but I wasn't actually practicing it to this level. And now I understand it more, maybe with age and more problems, like I said, struggles. But I'm actually blessed to have those things. And I don't look forward to problems, but I'm always ready for them. So I never actually like enjoy things for too long, because I know that as fast as these things come and it's a short time, same as problems, it's a short time. So just keep flowing, keep going through life, and yeah, that's it. So I think that's what's helped me with myself and religion. And that's how I try to spread the message to other people around me as well. I never force it. We just talk about it in any conversation now. Like I always bring it back to religion naturally. Like I don't even force it. It just happens now. But it's also helping me, if that makes sense. So when I'm talking about it, I'm not just doing it to tell people I'm better than them, because I'm not. Like we're not. Like no one's better than anyone else. We're all on the same level. But it's more about, this is how it helps me, so maybe it might help you as well. And the people I've spoken to recently have actually taken on, and they all thank me after. And I'm like, that makes me feel good, because I'm doing my job and my purpose as a human here as well.
Yeah, spreading the light.
Exactly, yeah, 100%.
That was really beautiful.
No, for real.
And it kind of just made me remember when you were saying about like appreciating the highs and lows. And like I always say, like what goes up must come down.
100.
But it's like being prepared for what life is going to throw at you, and know that you've got the strength and courage to overcome any obstacle.
Exactly, because we can't control what comes our way. We literally can't. But what we can control is our reaction to it, and literally our healing or our way to deal with things. That's the one thing we can control. So why not just focus on that and not worry about the things we can't control? Because life's stressful as it is, man. Like what's the point of deeping things that don't need to be deeped? Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Like that's my way, my attempt, and it works really well. 'Cause I've done it many times now. But like I said, this is the first time where I'm doing an attempt of doing those things that I wouldn't have done in my good moments as well. And that is also bringing a different kind of peace that I've not felt before.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is another reason why I wanted to open up this space. Like you were saying, like when it comes to religion, I feel like it's such a sensitive
100%.
subject, and there's so many like presumptions that people have. And I think the most important thing is just to welcome people into your space and have no judgment, and self-acceptance and acceptance of others as well. And this is another reason why I was looking forward to having you on the podcast. So thank you. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And very moving. What would you say to someone who's afraid to look at their past traumas because they're worried it might make things worse?
Yeah, this is a big one, because this is something I've been looking into, I'd say, for the last year or so. 'Cause I wasn't even aware about this myself. I didn't even know what past traumas meant. Again, that like the connotations around the word trauma, especially males as well. Like we look at that word, be like, oh, I've had people say on my social media, oh, it's a girly thing. It must be a girly thing.
Wow.
But I hate that. It really annoys me, because you need to be open and aware as to what that means, because it affects everyone, positively and negatively. Your past is literally who you are today. It's all made you the kind of person you are today. And you could either choose it to excuse you of certain behaviors, or you can use it as reasons for certain behaviors. So like we all channel our trauma in different ways. Like if you've had a bad upbringing, or you've struggled with certain things, let's say abuse or this or that, you can either use that to be the nastiest person in the world, or like restart that cycle of trauma again. Or you can be accountable and work on your trauma and start healing people, or help other people who could potentially be going through that same cycle that you've once been through. But essentially for me, past trauma is really important to work on, or at least be aware of, because it literally affects the people around you. And it's the same cycle that you'll be stuck in. If there's certain behaviors, certain toxic traits in your life that you've grown up around, that's normal to you, might not be normal for someone else, it might be in relationships, stuff come up, then if you've not done that work, it's literally going to work against you. That's how I see it, because you're not literally taking accountability. You're not working on yourself on those certain factors, and they're going to ruin your experience of life as well as the people who you love, so the people around you. And if you care about the people around you, you'll be aware of it, at least to want to do work. And I don't even mean like going professionally seeking, but I mean even just within yourself, being aware of certain behaviors that you might be doing that are kind of toxic, or literally existing purely because of your past and no other reason than that, just because you're attached to certain behaviors. And if you actually care about yourself, your future, and your family, then it's important to do that self-work and actually be aware of what those things are and what is caused as a result of those past traumas. So for me, past trauma is something that is incredibly important for everyone to work on, male and female. I just want to say that, make that clear. Because a lot of people just see it as a girly thing. But for me, it means that person hasn't gone through anything in life, or they haven't even experienced life to its highest yet, because they're just so unaware. So I don't mind being open about it and talking about it, because I actually want to put it out there and actually be the voice for it, because I don't mind. I'm so sure of myself, and I'm so sure of myself as a man, that I don't mind any judgment that comes that way, because I know what it actually means. And I don't just judge it from far like other people do. I know what it means and how important it is in life. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely refreshing having masculines like own their trauma
100.
and willing to go to the depths and really work on healing that there's so many things I can say about this, but definitely even as parents, I feel like now more than ever, especially if you plan to have kids, which is something I'm going to be touching on in the next episode. I just received so many insights from your share. When someone says they want to change but keeps sabotaging their progress, what's usually happening beneath the surface?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very common one in the gym as well. You find a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to lose weight," and then as soon as you start a conversation, I'll be like, "Okay, cool, let's break it down." A lot of people are like, "Oh, like, I want to get results." Like for example, recently we had someone say, "Oh, like, I've got a belly, like I want to get abs," and I said, "Do you actually want to?" Be like, "Yeah, okay, cool, let's have a conversation about it." And then I'll be like, "Okay, what's your diet like?" They'll be like, "Yeah, this is the diet." I say, "Okay, cool, we're gonna give you a diet plan." They'll be like, "Oh, I can't cook." I'll be like, "Okay, you can't cook? Okay, then we'll find a meal prep business for you." "Oh yeah, but that's long." So they're already sabotaging themselves already. And in my opinion, anyone that says they want something and they've not got it already, they don't want it bad enough. It's just cap. Because that was me as well. Like I've said that many times in life where, yeah, I want to lose weight, but I'm also aware that I don't want it bad enough. Because if I had wanted it bad, so if I did want it bad enough, it would have been done already. Like no one ever wants anything bad enough unless they've done those things or they're working heavily towards it. Like it's just all talk and it's just us literally lying to ourselves once again. Because like I said, we do that to ourselves anyway. And in the question where it says we sabotage ourselves because you don't want it bad enough. Because anyone who wants it bad enough will make it a priority no matter what's going on in your life. Like you need to be able to prioritize it or at least seek help or take actions towards it. Obviously, not everyone knows how to find a solution for things. So not everyone's as blessed. But go look for help. Go seek help. Like actually mean that you do want help or that you want to actually make changes in your life, be it. So obviously I give the example of fitness, for example, because that's the most common one. You hear everyone in the gym saying, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that." But you'll go to the same gym for 5 years, myself included, and you won't see a massive dramatic change because people don't keep themselves accountable and not real with themselves. Like the people who you do see change are the ones who actually meant that they wanted to make that change. Obviously this can tie into everything else as well. So spiritually, in terms of religion, even myself included, a few months ago when I said, yeah, I want to get back into praying and stuff. And I was doing it on and off, hit and miss. Obviously, I didn't want it bad enough because if I did, I would have been able to go straight into it. But I still wanted it to an extent to do little work towards it to get to where I am now. So I think as long as you're working towards those things and you want to make a change, then yeah, just prioritize it and you'll be able to get to where you want to get to. But it's very important to actually mean what you say or at least get help or make actions or steps towards those things.
Yeah, definitely. How do you help people balance accepting themselves as they are whilst also pushing for growth and improvement?
Yeah, this is a good one as well because a lot of the time when people start making progress, sometimes they're even more eager to get the results faster. They'll be like, okay, I've been doing this now, I'm losing weight, but like my abs are not there yet. Or they'll be like, okay, I'm losing weight, but I still don't look like this. But sometimes, especially with fitness, it's a long, long game. Like to get where you want to get, it takes ages. Like a lot of people underestimate the work. I think that's where the issue lies, is they underestimate the work because, say for example, again, I'll just use the example of gym because it can tie into everything else as well. But like, think about how long it took you to get that weight, like get to that stage, get to that level of where you are now. All the takeaways, all the non-training days, all the rest, all the I'll do it laters, all of that stuff ties into now. And just because you weren't conscious of it, it was years and years and years. In my opinion, it's actually quite easy to get into shape, considering the fact that you can change your whole self within 6 months to a year to 2 years. I think that's actually quite nice. It's quite nice of life and our bodies and our nature to be able to let us make that change, considering we've abused it for so many years. Like it's actually quite nice of our body, do you know what I mean, to respond in that way. But going back to the question, so there was one part of that question I missed out. Can you just...
How do you help people balance accepting themselves
Okay, yes, yeah.
as they are whilst pushing for growth?
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, so then this goes back into what I was saying earlier in terms of you can't rush that change and you need to be humble and real enough to know that the stage you're in now is what's needed to get to the stage that you want to be in. So it's not necessarily a flaw or drawback. Yeah, like there's more to work with, but you need to be able to work through that to get to where you want to get to. So like I said, when I went back to the gym, a lot of other people can relate to this as well. When you go back to the gym after a long, long time and you literally can't lift the same weights that you used to be able to, whatnot, that is necessary for you to get to where you need to get to. But you just need to just ride through it. So my advice would be just ride through it. And even if it's not the gym, whatever stage you're at, which is obviously you're not going to be at the final stage when you start a process. Like you're not going to be in the best stage. You might not be happy about it, but you just got to be strong-willed enough to just drive through that and flow until you get to where you want to get to. So it's very necessary, and you have no choice but to be like that in that stage anyway.
And really honor that like process,
Exactly,
as I
yeah.
was saying.
So you're better off accepting it and feeling good about it than just being negative about it. Yeah, you're right.
With
Honoring
my
it is good.
experience, I've gone into that whole loop, and it's like wanting to cut the corners and do the fad diets, and that doesn't work long term. But again, I feel like to some extent, it's again part of the process
100%.
because it aligns me to what works with me, and I feel like you have to explore. Like for some people, it's not going to be in the gym. It might be that they need an accountability partner, getting outside in nature, or just having that home workout with. But then there's also what you've mentioned about you probably picking up on all little excuses.
But you know what, you are right though, because you know how you said you were exploring the diets and stuff like that. You're very right, because that was me as well. I'd be using excuses like, oh, this diet is boring. Remember I said ADHD, so I needed new dopamine hit, so I'm doing like a meat only carnivore diet. Or then I did a water fast for 4 days. I've tried all these different things now. So like, again, that helps me in my line of work a little bit, because then obviously I can tell people what works and what doesn't. Because they'll be like, I want to try water fast. I'll be like, yeah, I've done that, but this is what it does for you. If you want that, you can still do it, because there are benefits to everything, obviously. But if you want those results, this is what you have to do. So I think you're right in terms of you have to honor it and accept it, but there's nothing wrong with exploring as well. Because if it comes back to kind of what we said earlier of you have to be ready to put in that work in yourself, and maybe you won't be ready till you try the other things and see that they don't work to then do what actually works. So say for example, I have a diet for someone, like here's a diet, let's call it diet A. This is exactly what works. They'd be like, okay, cool, but I want to try diet B, C, and D first. Even though I know diet A will work and B, C, D won't work, they have to do the B, C, D for it to fail, for them to then come back and say, okay, cool, like what actually works. But now you've wasted time as well. But I feel like it's important to do that and let a person do that.
And learn, you
can't force people. So sometimes when I hear that in the gym, as soon as then, for example, that person I was telling you an example of, they're like, okay, but I can't cook and do this. And I'm literally giving them a solution. I don't want a solution. I say, cool. I need them now to actually go through that and fail. Like, as weird and harsh as that sound is, not really, because you need to give people time and space to breathe and learn for themselves to then come back to you where they're now in a state to receive that help and that support and guidance. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, definitely. Because that goes back to what you mentioned about the empaths. And I think as a fellow empath, I feel like we take that responsibility, and sometimes you just have to hand that responsibility
which I found
back.
hard at first. I don't know if you
I definitely struggled.
No, leave all that, just do this now, leave all that, do it. But then you have to realize like everyone has their own journey. And just like I'm not good at letting people into my head, maybe other people need to also, not maybe, but they also need to go through that. Which you're right, it is hard to do
because it comes with that guilt. But once you overcome that, I feel like you're actually doing a better service to those people.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
It's just like I said, handing back that responsibility. So looking at your own journey, Sabil, what aspect of your healing surprised you the most? And what did you discover about yourself that you weren't expecting?
For me, I discovered a lot. Like obviously the two main things that stand out for me is the discipline and consistency thing. So like I said, I struggled with that at first. Like when I was younger, I was under the impression that now I can be consistent and I can be disciplined, and I would lie to myself and mask that throughout, and then I'd fall off again. But then also there came a down point where I was like, I felt bad. Like I didn't like that I wasn't able to be consistent. Disciplined. I'm like, oh, like I'm rubbish. I can't be consistent, or I don't have discipline in me. Because I came to realize the problem, like what we were talking about before. And then instead of lying to myself, I'm like, you know what? I actually do struggle with it. So that's why I openly say it now, because I don't mind talking about it, because it is something I struggle with, and me talking about it will help other people that are also going through that. There's nothing wrong with being aware that you do lack discipline and consistent, even though you don't want to believe that. Like, who likes saying that they don't have discipline? Because you like to believe that you do, because I've shown it in different aspects in life and whatnot. So for me, realizing that I was struggling with consistency helped me become more consistent now, in terms of working my way around it, giving myself leeway in certain aspects, and also then taking accountability for it to actually work on it. So rather than me saying, yeah, I am consistent, and sometimes falling off and making an excuse to pretend I am consistent, but I'm not right now because of this, then now I'm accountable, and I'm like, whenever I'm not consistent, it's not because of these one-off things, it's actually because I don't have it in me. So actually being real about it had made me realize that I wasn't before, but at the same time, that's then transferred onto now me actually being consistent and me being aware of my consistency and discipline and being accountable. So that's what's helped me, and that's what I've learned more about myself after doing that work, after praying, after having that belief in God, it's helped me in other aspects of life as well. Like now when I hear problems or negative things, even if it's health scares or anything, I'm just like, all right, cool, what's the next step? Like, how do we get through it then? Because let's just deal with it. I won't cry about nothing. I won't let it dwell on me for too long. I'll just pick up and go, pick up and go, pick up and go. And that's why whenever anyone asks me, how you doing? I always say, yeah, I'm good. I'm just pulling through. I'm just going through. I'm just taking it one day at a time, because that's all you can do. Like, there's no point dwelling on something for too long. Obviously, you should still validate your feelings, but you still are in control of how long you choose to let those feelings interrupt your mental space. And then you need to decide when you need to actually take action as well. Because that's wasting time in a way. And time is everything, because the longer you let it dwell in your head, the more you'll overthink and the more it'll take over your life, and it'll ruin that flow of life that you had anyway. So be it going gym and everything as well. If you dwell on it too long, now you're slowing down all that progress, and then it's going to ruin you. So you're better off just picking up and going for that still long-term picture that you're trying to reach, and that potential you're trying to get, because it's just going to slow everything down and make you feel worse in the long run. Because then you'll look at it in a few years' time and be like, I've still not moved nowhere, because I'm always on and off, in and out, half foot in, half foot out. And I think I saw a quote recently actually that ties into this, but it said that there needs to be a part of you to realize that in order to change and get the life you want, you can't be one leg out, one leg in. Like, you actually have to cut people out. You actually have to just go full force into that lifestyle to get that lifestyle. You can't live two lives at once. And that means changing those habits that have been enrooted in you and everything. You need to let go and kill that person off to be this new version of yourself that you actually want to be. And it's difficult to digest at first, even with people, and letting go and cutting people out. But it's needed for your own growth. And it's not really anything personal to anyone, because at the end of the day, we're all going to go into our own graves anyway. So you need to do the work for yourself to be better for those people around you. And if it means cutting people off, then it's not personal. You just got to do that and move on, which was hard for me at first, I'll be honest, but it's needed.
No, definitely. Like, I just call it shedding season, where it's like, releasing the old, making space for the new. And it's going through that like death and rebirth, isn't it, of yourself, that old version of yourself that just no longer serves you.
Yeah, just to better yourself.
Yeah. And it's nice to even have a moment to reflect back and be like, oh my God, this is how far I've actually
I feel like
come.
some people find it sad though. I don't know if you can relate to that, but some people are like, oh, but I used to be like this. I used to be more carefree. And there are advantages to that. But then I think you have to just choose what you actually want in life. Like, do you want to be living a certain lifestyle? Because a comfortable life is easy to have.
It's easy.
And it's easy to just not do anything about it. Because I think I saw some on a study before something, but like, a lot of us don't change who we are. We change how we dress, we change our like physical condition, like weight loss and whatnot. But a lot of us don't change the way we speak, for example, or the way we are inside and mentally. But those are also things out there to change. Yeah. But like, obviously, if you just live day to day and just literally not do anything and the same thing day in and day out, you're not going to change. If you're fine with that, fine, that's all right, that's you. But if you want more from yourself, then you have to actively do those things to become a new person. And even a new person, sometimes people say, oh, this change you, that change you. But it's just who you were always meant to be, because you're actually doing that work. You can't become something you're not. Like, you need to do those works. And when you're doing that work, you end up becoming that new person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. And I feel like growth is uncomfortable.
100%.
Like, nothing is like extravagant is going to happen in that comfort zone.
Facts.
And it's always like, when what you were saying, I was just thinking about like not taking action. Like with me, I would use a lot of delaying tactics.
Yeah.
And it will be, the plan will be there, but getting to that level of execution, it took a while for me in many areas of life. Yep. So I definitely resonate with that too. You mentioned working with people who are open and ready. How do you assess someone's genuine readiness versus someone who just thinks they want to change?
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like it varies from person to person, but normally you'll know. So like, you know how you said before, like you'll give someone something to follow for the healing and they won't do any of the work. Then you know they don't want it. But sometimes maybe they do, but they're just struggling to take that first step. So then sometimes I think it's also difficult to just categorize everyone and say, yeah, they don't want to put the work in, forget them. Like, I always like to give people benefit of the doubt and still try to push that little extra, even if it looks like I'm begging for them to now like heal or like do better or to improve themselves. I don't mind doing that because I don't have ego. So I don't mind me looking a bit less for a bit to help someone else. I don't mind. And because again, it's my greater purpose to try to help people in any way I can, even if it's a little thing. I don't mind helping people. But I think assessing it is difficult and it does vary from person to person. But I think if you're just there long enough, like you'll know and you'll kind of see it through them. When they start making too many active excuses where they're working against what you're trying to do, I think that's obviously a very clear sign, because then you're like, okay, now I need to back off as well for self-respect and for them as well, to give them room to actually realize it. But I think it's tough to say exactly when, but overall, if you know that they're working against you now, then that's probably time to back off. Whereas if, like what I was saying before, like they're just making a few excuses, but maybe they just need a little bit of adaptation to make that initial step, then maybe still give them benefit of doubt to try to work with them as best you can, and then back off when needed as well. I think both of those are important as each other, because maybe working on them too much might put them off even more. And then now you're working against trying to help them. Now you're making them worse, and now you're making everything more alien to them. Whereas the goal is to make everything as simple as possible for the person to get the same goal. Got a lot of time with fitness, for example, or even in life, but I'll just talk about fitness because it's relatable. In terms of getting their goals, you can't just give them the perfect plan that's going to work now and the exact gym days. You have to ease your way into it and adapt it to a person. Even with diet, for example, a lot of people hate dieting, and that's fine. You can. So what I say, and a lot of people hate me for this, but I'll say it, yeah. I'll say you can't eat takeaways, you can't eat fried chicken and still lose weight. And I'll be doing it myself. And I'll be putting it out there and people hate it. But
Yay!
Exactly. But if it works for a bit, if it works, then why not? If it's going to help you get to where you got to get to, then why not? But it has to work, and you have to be able to follow that. Like whatever adaptation needed for that person, do it. Sometimes I might say to one person, yeah, you can have this to get over the line. And for another person, I'll say, no, you can't have that, even though they can. Because I know who I can push in what way, because you can judge it easily. You know who's going to take the mick with it, and and at the same time, you also know who genuinely needs the adaptation to get them along the line. So it's important to do your best in terms of knowing how to judge. But at the same time, a person will very easily tell you. If you're hearing excuses all the time, then you know they actually don't want to do it. So there's no point. Yeah.
I think it's important, isn't it, as mentors to like show people grace. And also, like, I always say, like, when we're too forceful with things, we create challenges, whether it's for ourselves or for others. So I like to let things kind of unfold and naturally flow. And I found that with a lot of my clients as well, that they need that little nudge, but then you just take a step back and let things unfold, and they will find what kind of is aligned to them and their process and what will feel right. And it's funny what you said about the cheat meals, because I always say to my little one that she's learnt the term cheat meals or cheat days, but she just has a cheat throughout every single meal. And so she'll be like, I'm just having a cheat, like a cheat meal or something, but it'll be the whole day, like a cheat day. And it just reminded me of that.
Oh, bless.
What does a breakthrough actually look like in your work? Is it dramatic or is it more subtle?
For me, it's subtle for sure at first. So it'll be the little wins, like we were talking about earlier as well. So it's the little wins for sure that add up to that bigger win. Or sometimes people aren't even with me long enough to get that big win, to be honest with you, because it's very rare to have people stick with one person long enough. And that, again, comes into life issues or just excuses again and whatnot. But whilst I'm with a person, I still want them to have those little wins so they can use that mentality to break through other parts in life. So like when I was talking about earlier, when people kept saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, that probably helps them maybe in the line of work when they realize they can do certain things, makes them more confident, make them walk around differently. For example, when I had that client who couldn't do a plank and whatnot, then after she was able to do that, then the next few sessions afterwards, instead of me even asking her to do a plank, she was already in a position, like starting the plank already. So I was like, oh, look, so like now you actually want to do it. And now you want to do it for longer, do you get me? And then you end up pushing your own boundaries, because sometimes even as people, we might not even know someone's potential as much. So we might be limiting them even though they haven't shown any signs of anywhere near to that potential. By maybe saying, I'll do a plank for a minute, they might be capable of doing 5 minutes. But until they don't see that little kind of push from themselves, they won't even take it to that level. So only people themselves probably know where they can take it to, but we can only kind of guide that a little bit. And then afterwards, it is up to them to push it how much. So the little breakthroughs for me are probably the biggest breakthroughs, because all those little breakthroughs eventually will end up giving you the result, the main transformation in fitness. So like I'm working on myself right now, and all the little wins I'm having, I'm keeping them to myself. And then when I have that big transformation, then I know I'll be able to guide more people. So right now I'm working on my own fitness journey. And once I have that big transformation that everyone sees online, because that's all what people see. So you must have seen on social media when people do a massive weight loss transformation, everyone's like, oh, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And then you say, oh, it took me this many months. They're like, oh, okay, it's a bit boring, isn't it? They want to hear 4 weeks or something.
Yeah,
you get me? 4 weeks, summer shred plan or something crazy.
Yeah,
exactly. But it doesn't work like that. It's all those little breakthroughs. But even me, that's why I'm using my social media platform now. I mean, I'm not using it actively for this purpose right now, but soon I will, where after I have had my transformation, I'll put it out there. I'll be talking about the little wins and the little breakthroughs afterwards, so people can relate to those more as well. Okay, so going back to it, it's definitely more subtle. And the breakthroughs, you'll see like a change in the person very small, gradually, and it'll come through that the confidence, the way they carry themselves, and even how much they want to push themselves. So a lot of times, maybe, for example, with training, you might be like, okay, so we're going to do this, this, and this. And they'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that, but fine. But then afterwards, when you're working with them long enough, then they'll be like, oh, wait, are we doing this as well then today? They're kind of more excited for it. They're looking forward to it because they're actually excited to see how much they can challenge themselves and push themselves more, be it beat a record time or a new personal record. So yeah, for me, I think the subtle breakthroughs are more common. And like I said, sometimes they don't even work with you long enough for the big transformation anyway. But again, you still get fulfillment and satisfaction out of that anyway. And even me, my own journey, because I recognize the small wins so much, I know how important they are. Like you need to recognize those small wins to get to the big win, because then you lose motivation as well. Like I said, motivation is important, but not as important as a discipline factor, but it does help through your discipline as well. So you need to have both in a way. So like if you're losing weight and you get a new weight every week, like you're seeing that scale go down, you fit better in your clothes, like why would you want to stop? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If everything's working for you, like why would you want to stop? So like for me, subtle wins are far more important than the big wins. Not more important as so, but
important to celebrate those milestones.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but important. For sure.
That's true. I mean, with me personally, like I'm always like, okay, so when's like the big breakthrough going to happen? But it's so nice to be able to go back and reflect on how far you've come, and especially when it comes to my weight, like as a mother, and how much like female bodies change after that. So it's definitely a massive journey. It's a very long journey, and you just have to again honor it.
Facts. No, I've worked with a lot of parents. So like what you said is very valid, because a lot of female bodies change, a lot of females don't realize it, and they don't want to work on it because they're scared to face what they've developed into, what they've changed and how they've changed, and they kind of hate it sometimes, because but at the same time means people are avoidant. So it's almost going back to one of your other questions of like, why do people avoid this? Because they don't want to come to reality and face it. Like, they'd rather keep doing what they're doing subtly and not put any attention to it. But I always respect people that do, no matter what stage of life they're in, because you have to go through it, and it takes a lot of resilience and power and motivation to get through it. And again, going back to the point of living for your families and for yourself, I think it's important to look after yourself, because, for example, in your case with children, like you want them to see that as motivation, be like, oh look, my mom's looking after herself. Like this is the way of life.
Absolutely.
This is important, and it embeds into them as well. Like, I've worked with a lot of parents, and they always say that their children end up treating them a bit different as well. Like it's not only other colleagues and life, but it's the kids as well.
Yeah.
And it'll come through normal little habits, but it's very vital, I think, for families in general and for your own self-development. So yeah, it's really important.
It's like stepping into the shoes of that role model.
Exactly. And that's what you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. No, I see that all the time with my little one. She sees stuff that I'm doing, and like even with the vitamins, like I know kids have the little gummy ones. I need to take my vitamins today.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is always nice to be like, especially when that's reflected back to you and you 100%. See that.
And it's probably nice for you to see as well.
Oh, it definitely is. That kind of creates that drive as well, that motivation.
Because you want to be that person
going.
for them.
To be that role model, especially in the times that we live in now.
100%.
How it's so hard to like find anything organic.
Facts. It is difficult. It's very difficult.
Another conversation.
Yeah. We can talk about anything right now. Yeah, for real.
So your core message is take control of your life and become better. For someone feeling overwhelmed by where to start, what's the first step in reclaiming that control? Yeah, no, that's a really good question, because I can relate a lot to that, because whenever I was at my lowest, I didn't know where to start. Even though I have all the information, I'm a PT, I'm qualified, I've been in and out of the gym so many times, like even though I didn't look like a PT most of the time, I had all the knowledge in there, but I just didn't know where to start myself. And not because I didn't know what exercise to do, whatnot. I knew all of that, but I didn't know what physical and mental action to take. So for me, it's the smallest wins. And I know I know people hate, hearing this sort of stuff. Like, it starts with making your bed and that. And I'm going to say something similar to that, but it starts with as simple as looking after yourself. So like for me as well, when I was at my lowest stage, I wasn't even getting haircuts. Like, I just look like I'm from some random jungles. Like someone just found me, like a beard all over the place, hair all over the place, like literally wearing the baggiest clothes, not even looking after myself. Sometimes even, I'm not even afraid to admit this, but even just basic hygiene, like not even brushing your teeth, not even taking like showers often, because you just don't even care about yourself. And I feel like it starts with all those simple things first, like waking up,
like feeling good about yourself, actually looking after yourself. Hygiene is important as well. Taking care of yourself. Because sometimes with weight transformation, especially when people gain weight, they think, oh, like I'm big now, so forget everything else as well. Like, what's the point? But it shouldn't be like that. Like, even if you are feeling a bit heavier, or you are actually heavier and you are bigger, you should still dress as good as you can, as well as you can, still smell as good as you can, like use perfume, look after your hygiene, take care of yourself, cut your hair, cut your nails, do all of that stuff. I think the basics of the foundation are more important than anything else. To get all of that stuff right first. For me and for Muslims, it could be just reading the Quran or reading your holy books a little bit, praying, taking those little steps first to kind of ground yourself, to be able to put yourself in a good position to then see other things. I think that's more important more than anything else, to take everything one step at a time and getting all those things right and correct first before then taking the steps towards the bigger things, and not rush it. Just take your time with it, work on yourself, because gradually all those little steps will help you take the other steps that you need to take. So if you want to progress in gym, the first steps aren't the gym. The first steps are you, yourself, and I, basically, at home, taking care of all those things first, and then eventually progressing on to the bigger things.
To start off with your basic needs.
Exactly.
And then go from, because I completely resonate.
Exactly.
And again, this is a judgment-free space. And I know with mental health, when it kicks in, it does get like that.
100.
And you can become, I wouldn't even say complacent. I think it goes beyond that.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's complacent. Like you almost don't care about it.
You're just letting yourself go.
And you're not even happy to be in that state. Like you hate it as well. Yeah. But you're like, you don't want to take any action by it.
And it plays in your mind. You know exactly what you need to do, but it's getting out, taking that first step.
Exactly.
That's the hardest. But once you do, the next step presents itself.
Exactly. All the tiny steps, like even with the gym thing, like before I got into gym, I think last year sometime when I first started to lose a bit more weight again, I just started at home. So just doing kettlebell. I didn't want to go to the gym. Kettlebells, or just walk into the shops instead of driving. Like all those little things, or even just doing extra steps at home. Like I have a family member as well, like she had a health scare. And she's someone who you thought, no offense, would never lose weight because she just didn't want to. And then when she had that trigger point, she was able to do it from her own home, from her front door to her garden door, just doing steps all day long. And she lost a massive amount of weight. And no one could believe it, but it's because she wanted to. But she started that step from walking and she didn't realize it, but that was the prime thing she needed to then just lose all that weight. And it's more than losing weight. It's not even about that. It's about the mentality thing. Yeah. And just starting with whatever you have around you as well. So some people listening to this might not be able to go to the gym or whatnot. So I think it's important for me to say that you need to be able to work with your surroundings, be it weight training at home, dumbbells, or even body weight, or just moving more. And again, just being able to work with what you've got. Because sometimes we want to work on ourselves. We end up making more excuses. Like, I don't have the tools to do this, do that. We all have YouTube, we all have phones, smartphones. Put on a random old like 90s style video and just
There's
just
so
move
much
more.
at our
There's
disposal
so much out there. Yeah,
exactly.
It's just about doing more. And eventually, even if you don't know the exact route, even if it is with fitness or in life, you're not meant to know the exact route. As long as you take the little actions now and you can see your next step, just take those first, and then everything else will fall into place. And then your route will become more distinctive as you go along. And even then you won't know, but you just have to keep going, and then you see where your life takes you.
Yeah, and that's so inspiring what you shared as well, the example. And I feel like it's like a reclamation of power, isn't it? Taking your power back, because you're there and there's that stagnancy and you have the power within. It's just getting back to unlocking it and reclaiming it.
Exactly.
So how do you help people stay motivated when healing work gets difficult and progress feels slow?
That's a good one. With that one, so you're saying when results are basically like not there, not as evident, how do I keep them motivated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, obviously, what's also helped me, so I know it works for other people, is just reminding them of the initial goal. So you always remind people why they started, because you often forget because you're so busy working on your current goals or whatnot. And let's use like gym as an example again. So like when people want to lose weight, so for example, say it's for a wedding or something, and then like they're like, oh, I'm getting sick, or I'm not seeing anything, and then you kind of remind them like, well, why do you start again? Like they know why they started, so you just have to ask them like, why did you start this? Why did you initially start? And then they say, this is why I started. Say, remember how you felt when you wanted to start? They'd be like, yeah, I wanted to get this, get that. Say, exactly, that's why we're doing this. And then that's when the adaptations come in a little bit, because you have to actually work with them again. You can't just say that and then leave them to it again. Be like, why did you start? And then walk off. But remember why you started this? And then walk off. Yeah, like you have to like kind of give them that reminder. And then be like, okay, cool, now let's work on it. Because then they're going to be like, okay, no, that's fair enough. That is why I started. So like, what can we do about it? And then that's when you start adapting things. Because if they're not seeing results, that is kind of bad on my end as well, because they should be, right? But yeah, so then if they can't see those kind of results immediately, then that's fine. Like that happens sometimes in fitness as well. And sometimes you just have to wait for things to play through to get results. So like with weight especially, it's a bit complicated, but sometimes it will just pause for a little bit. And then like a few days after, they'll check in, they'll drop like a few more kilos than they initially thought they would. But the whole point I'm making is that you just remind people why they started. That helps them kind of stay motivated. And also just little adaptations to help them stay disciplined enough throughout that is important.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's very true with the adaptations, because it might be that what worked initially,
Doesn't work.
things have shifted a bit now.
Yeah.
So the priorities shift and you might need to adapt things. And that's amazing that you take that on board as a mentor.
And I feel like, sorry to add to that point as
No,
well.
of course.
I feel like my ADHD has helped because like I said, I struggle doing the same thing all the time, but it's also put me in a position where I can come up with more solutions for people. Like when they get tired of the same routine, because some people aren't built like that. Well, most people aren't built like that unless you have that discipline in you. Some people can have the same exact meal, and I know this because of my brother as well. Bless him, yeah. He can do the same thing and eat the same thing forever, and he's like a machine, and that's him. and then he needs to understand that not everyone's like that. And that's a blessing. That's great for him. But that also, because I've struggled, I can relate to other people in terms of like what does help people is adapting and consistently. And even though sometimes that might feel like, oh, but like, I'm keep changing this. Doesn't matter. If it works for you, change it. Not as frequently, because you do need that discipline. So I feel like it's a very fine line, but being open to changing things. So if it's like, oh, you've had like chicken breast and rice for like this many weeks now, like why don't you change it to this or this? Or the cheat meals like we were talking about earlier, or just maybe having this instead of that, and just constantly adapting. I think me being neurodiverse and having those struggles with my own consistency has helped me apply that to other people and kind of get where they're coming from. So instead of being like, oh, like you're just not disciplined enough, like fix up. Like, even though they do sometimes need that, because like a lot of people do mask as well, and sometimes people are being lazy, let's be real. So like there is an element of that, but when I see that someone's genuinely struggling, then I'll just add those adaptations in to help them get to the goal faster. Not faster,
a bit of tough love as well.
Yeah, it's important. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I also feel like I'm a bit too nice as well. I'm like, okay, I feel so
You
bad.
can't sugarcoat.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh,
keep
okay,
it real.
let's change this or let's change that. But then sometimes you need to be like, no, you need to fix this. Like, you're doing this wrong. Like, let's keep it real.
And it will help them in the long run. They might not see it in that moment, but later down the line, it will kind of click, and it will like, okay, I needed that.
Exactly.
And especially the ones who really want to do the work.
Facts.
They need that. So you say what makes your approach unique is you, your personal journey and lived experience. What do you bring to this work that only someone who's walked this path could offer?
Yeah, again, I think that ties very well into what I just said as well with the ADHD. Like, again, and I keep saying it, and it's because I'm kind of proud of it as well. And it's only because I've only learned about it recently, so I'm kind of showing off that I have ADHD as well, I guess, yeah. But it's made me always adapt and literally get results in so many different ways that I know is like you're able to get the same results in those so many different ways. There's not one way for everyone. So it's not like everyone has to eat and train like a bodybuilder to get the results that they'll be happy with. Because not everyone is a bodybuilder, and that's fine. And you need to be able to do what works for you. And because of my different attempts and wins in so many different ways, I know that there's not that one way, and then that allows me to adapt things for other people so they can still get the results they want with their lifestyle. Like you said, for example, with parents having responsibility, it's not easy with children to like get your life together, or some people might have a very stressful job, or like businessmen and businesswomen, like they have a lot on their plate, and it's very easy to make excuses. Or even like as South Asians, the diet and the parents cooking some mad food, which is tasty, let's not get it wrong, but the calories on that are crazy as well.
It's very true.
Yeah, it's geared up, loaded up. Yeah, geared up is a good one. But I think the point is that you obviously have to adapt and allow people to understand that they can still enjoy life and they can still reach their goals at the same time, but you just have to limit things and have boundaries on certain things and still know what your goal is and know what you want. Because if you love food and you don't want to have any discipline, then you're not going to get the results. But if you love food, but you still want the results, you can still like dab into those things, enjoy it with limit, and still be driven to your main goals. So I think because of me having gone through so many of those different things, being like South Asian myself, being someone who has to go to family events sometimes, or like not wanting to say no to like my mom's cooking sometimes because I just feel bad, or like also just giving into life, say if I'm meeting a friend after a long time and then going out with a meal, I'm not going to be there with a weighing scale like weighing up my food. I just want to enjoy the moment as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So like I think it all ties into being able to adapt enough and also not take the joy out of it, because it should be a journey you do enjoy sometimes as well, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Like, obviously discipline does come into it and sometimes you won't enjoy it, so you need to have that aspect as well. But if you're not like competing and you're not actually doing it professionally, then I think it's okay to actually still enjoy it and still get results.
I think that's really important as well for consistency. Like, you have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because then it just becomes like that pressure, isn't it? That's on you. And I feel like you need to, as in, personally for me, I'm speaking from my personal experience, I feel like I need to enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
That's why I find like dancing and other kind of workouts are more realistic for me.
For you, yeah, nice.
And so it's so important to find that. Wow, some really, really incredible insights. Before we end, could you give one piece of advice to someone listening who knows they need to work on themselves but feels stuck or scared to start? What would it be?
No, for sure. I think, again, instead of overcomplicating the whole issue, like obviously there's so many things that someone wants to change in that moment. And like maybe they have this whole plan, like the night before, like they were staying awake all night, so they're going to change their whole life the next day, like some MR5 style. It's not going to work. And the main thing is that that's fine. You want to have all those things and you want to change all those things. And it's great that you're aware of all those things that you want to change. But you literally have to start at the smallest and the easiest point first to get you onto that ball of rolling. Like, you can't just go cold turkey and like just leave all your bad habits and go crazy with everything. Like, write all those things down if that helps you. Like, for me, it doesn't really help me, but for a lot of people, I know it can, because they visually like to see all the things they need to do. But just start at the most simplest way possible and ease your way through things first. Like, don't just go, okay, I'm gonna go gym every single day and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna eat like this. Like I said about my own journey, for me, it was about easing into one thing. And then once that kind of settled in stone a bit, I was like, okay, now I can fix my diet. And then now I can add the prayer stuff, because that's what works for me. So the main thing I think really is to find what works for you and build around that. Rather than seeing what works for other people, you can still get the same goals based on what works for you. And that's the most important thing, other than anyone else. And don't listen to other people. Don't take advice from other people unless they're professional, they know what they're talking about. Because in the gym, it's really common for people to just throw advice at you, like when you first start. And then sometimes that makes you feel bad about your own journey. You might not even want to go. So like, be careful with who you take advice from as well. And be sure of yourself and your own journey and your own purpose as well. That's very important, I feel like. Because if you don't know your own purpose and your own goal, then other people will be able to shift what you do very, very easily, because they just have that room to do that. So take it easy, take one step at a time, give yourself credit, also implement discipline and take accountability. So where you can be easy on yourself when you're first starting, when it's time to actually get cracking and actually be disciplined and like army style about it, then you have to do that as well to get what you want. So yeah, just take it one step at a time again, and keep it simple for yourself as well. And that's it. I'd say that. Nice and simple advice there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, that was so incredibly insightful, Sabil. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you in this space. Do you want to tell them about what you do and where we can find you on socials?
I'm an online coach now. I was previously like an in-person personal trainer, and I still do it here and there, but I've now moved on to online coaching more. I feel like it is more beneficial for everyone. And also, I'm also moving into mental health coaching now, because I do feel like they go hand to hand. So even if it's not necessarily just fitness you want improvement in, then you can still reach out to me and I can at least push you in the right direction or help you get onto your feet. So right now, my main socials are Sabil. It's not really anything to do with my line of work, but it's my kind of personal branding page. But you can reach out to me and feel free to DM me about anything as well. So yeah.
All the links can be found in the description below. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that bell icon so you can stay updated on all upcoming episodes. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and comment down below if you've got any insights, and I'll be reading and replying to as many of you as I can. So as always, guys, make sure to trust your path, honor your process, and keep aligning with Soulitude.